best beginner niche houses, or best niche house for beginners. If you're just getting into the niche world, I started a series last week, and the first house I talked about was a Tat Libre d'Orange. You can go back and see, it was last week. But this is my second house. So I'm gonna do a little series here where I'm introducing people to what I think are great houses for that person coming from the designer world, maybe even the primarily dupe world, and they're looking to step up their game. They're maybe coming up close to the age of 30, a little bit more mature, maybe late 20s, and definitely older, and you're basically ready to level up. So welcome to Joel the Nose. Give me a like and follow. And I promise I'll make it worth your while if you continue to watch the videos and give you content that I think is valuable. So let's get right into this. This next house is one that's very popular. It's one that is mass popular. So it's not just popular with niche. I almost consider it quasi-niche now because it's not just available through their own boutique or their own online sales. It's available at a lot of high-end department stores like Nordstrom or Saks or something like that. You could probably guess what I'm talking about, and that is Parfums de Marly. Parfums de Marly. I've got Cologne with me right here. I brought a couple of the fragrances out today. Also have Habdan, two of my favorites. That's why I brought these out. And why do I select this one as a house that I think is great? So, I think any good fragrance is a story. And Habdan is one of the very first niche fragrances I owned. Got it from Osme Perfumery probably, I don't know, again, maybe 6, 7 years, 8 years ago. And this was the one that really kind of like, wow, it just, when I smelled it for the first time, it's got this just, it reminds me of fall, winter, Christmas, cold weather, fire, little sweet, little spicy, little cinnamon. I wore it to the very first Scent Explorer that I went to in 2000. I think that was 2019, 18 or 19. I can't remember now. The very first one, I guess it was 18. Anyways, and so this forever holds a special memory because that was the first time I got introduced to the fragrance world. I was, at that point, had just started my channel. Like had a channel for like a month or two when Scent Explorer first started. And unfortunately, I'm not there this year because it coincides with Art Basel week here in Miami, which is a week I just can't leave Miami. Too much going on here for my business and everything else. But having said that, it's where I met Stephen from Red Adolescence. I met Carlos, Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. I met Jeremy, who then became a friend of mine, and especially once he moved to Miami, Jeremy Fragrance. So tons of Max Forti, of course, who runs this special event. And shout out to Max because wow, what a job he does and what an event this has evolved into. But so that reminds me, this takes me back, it transports me. And any good fragrance house is going to make fragrances, I think, that have enough DNA where people are going to create these memories, and sometimes they're going to have DNA that's maybe similar so that a lot of people can relate to them. And what makes this house special is whenever you smell Parfums de Marly, you can tell it's a Parfums de Marly. There's definitely a DNA to it. There's definitely some probably similar notes or accords that they put in every fragrance, if that was my guess, because when you smell it on a fragrance, whether it's something completely different like these two, you somehow recognize it's Parfums de Marly. Obviously, the bottles are some of the best out there. You get these really thick kind of glass bottles with these tops, these metal tops that seriously could be a weapon in some countries. I think probably, I'm surprised they're not banned in Europe, just a joke, but these things are, if you ever get in a fight or someone invades your house or tries to steal your collection, go for your Parfums de Marly bottle and take this off and use it as a weapon, like a throwing star, like a throwing Chinese star. You're gonna do some damage. But having said all that, all joking aside, why are some other reasons that I think this deserves there? It gives you a chance to really explore a lot of wonderful beginner niche fragrances to ones that are more unique, like some oud fragrances that they have, like Habdan, like Ojan. These are fragrances that are definitely more niche. You can go with Pegasus, you can go with Carlisle, you can go with so many, Greenlee, which is a wildly popular among the younger generation now. So if you're in your 20s and you love Greenlee, which I love, and the kind of fresh green fragrance. You can start there, and you can always move your game up into one of these other fragrances that are maybe a little bit more daring, a little bit more bold. They have that new Extrait line, Carios. I've talked about those recently, the 3 new fragrances. So that's kind of tackling this whole genre of I would say, upper luxury, like Louis Vuitton. It's kind of, I see them going head to head with LV fragrances on those, whether it be Meteor, anything. I don't know. Just my 2 cents there. So my point being that there's a lot of fragrances that kind of run the gamut. They run the spectrum here. And something in the middle to me is like Cologne, which, by the way, for some reason is still pretty polarizing. When it first came out, there was a lot of hate, including from me. I remember I did a video on this where my first review, I didn't like it. And then I started wearing it, and Maurice gave me a challenge. He's like, wear it. He goes, put on a bunch of sprays. I put it on. I went out with 3 friends, lady friends that were visiting town. I had been on a TV show, for those of you who don't know, a reality TV show called My Mom, Your Dad, which was about divorced parents dating again. And 3 of the friends from the show, the women that I got to be good friends with afterwards, came to visit me in Miami. We went out one night. The minute I got in the car, I was wearing Cologne. Every single one of them was like, stop, Joel, stop. What are you wearing? Like, that is amazing. On the flip side, I had another date another time with a girl from China where they like their fragrances definitely more light and more fresh and not strong. And this is strong. This is, the notes on this are orange. Let's see, it's blood orange, pink pepper, spices, cashmere wood, orange, I said orange blossom, absolute, lavender. So this is very strong. And so on the flip side to that compliment from 3 women I got, who are American women, went on a date where, no lie, the poor girl, and I didn't spray that much. I had like 5 or 6 sprays, which for me is not a lot. She rolled down the window. So that's a true fragrance story. Stuff like that happens. And excuse me one second. So that happens. She had to roll down the window literally because it was too strong for her. So know your fragrance, know the people you're with. That's this is a whole second thing, but don't wear fragrances. Maybe they're taking a risk. I probably took too much of a risk there. But I just get so many compliments on Cologne, way more compliments than I do have a situation like that. The one downside potentially is these are more expensive. You're talking $300-400. The new ones are $500. Those new extraits. So these are fragrances that you can save up. I would pick one. There's so many good freshies. So I would say start. You can again look. There's 6, 7, 8 probably good fresh fragrances. Again, I would recommend Carlisle. I'd recommend Pegasus. I would recommend Greenlee. I would recommend Cologne for an entry level, but smell it first. It is something that it's not going to be for everybody. And then when you want to step up your game, go to some of their oud fragrances, go to something like Habdan if you want to smell something totally different, and enjoy it. It's a great house. It's run by wonderful people, and it is a fragrance that, a house that continues to grow, continues to evolve. If you look over the last 15 years or so, it's really evolved into one of the most popular niche fragrance houses out there. I even call it quasi-niche because niche to me is one of the definitions of a niche house is that it's only available either at its own boutique or its own online sales, but it's not necessarily at department stores, or kind of mass retail. They are available at mass retail, but high-end, again, like Nordstrom, Saks, things like that. So it is a little bit more, they're kind of in that new genre of quasi-niche, but still consider them very much niche fragrances. So there you have it. My second house in the series of best niche houses for beginners. And let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of people love Parfums de Marly, PDM, and I know a lot of people have a lot of fragrances, and I know a lot of people have strong opinions on this house. So put them down below. Let's get a little dialogue going. Let me know some of the ones that are your favorites from the house and ones that you recommend actually for beginners also, because a lot of people will look at the comments and it's good to see what other people think. All right. Remember, like and follow me. Joel the nose. Yeah, and don't be a wimp. Spray like a